various areas which promote ease of doing business and the hard work put in by the state governments. The central government's commitment to reforms goes beyond the World Bank's ranking of doing business. The government is committed to reduce the compliance burden on its citizens, promote innovation, sustainability, competitiveness, and promote ease of living for all its citizens. In this direction, a significant step was taken in December 2014 by starting a comprehensive reform exercise in all the states and union territories of India by introducing a state business reform action plan. Till date, 3 state rankings have been released successfully since 2015. The current ranking is based on the performance of the states and UTs and the perception of the respondents in more than 180 indicators. A major change that was introduced in the current ranking in the methodology was to link performance assessment of all the states exclusively to the user feedback. This is an important step as it underlines the government's belief that citizens alone are the best judge of the quality of the implementation of the reforms. We have received tremendous cooperation and participation from the states and the union territories, for which I am very thankful to all of them. The recent decision under the Atmanirbhar Bharat declared by the Honorable Prime Minister indicates clearly that India's progress towards reforms to promote ease of doing business and ease of living will continue at a great pace. On this occasion, I sincerely thank the International Finance Corporation team, particularly Mr. Mengistu Alemenehu, Regional Director for IFC, South Asia, and the team leader, Mr. Harsh Janjaria, and his team for helping us in this exercise. I also thank our Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry for his constant guidance and support, which helped us in carrying out this exercise. I also thank our Honorable Ministers of State, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri ji and Sri Som Prakash ji for their constant support and advice. I reiterate that DPIIT is committed to the cause of creating a conducive business environment by relentlessly pursuing the reforms agenda to promote ease of doing business and ease of living. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सर। बिजनेस रिफॉर्म एक्शन प्लान का चौथा संस्करण अपनी सुदृढ़ कार्यप्रणाली को लगातार विकसित कर रहा है, सुधारों के दायरे को गहरा और विस्तृत कर रहा है ताकि इन्हें जन केंद्रित तथा व्यवसायों के अधिक अनुकूल बनाया जा सके। May I now request Shri Som Prakash, Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to address the esteemed gathering.
Honorable Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Finance Minister, Government of India, Honorable Piyush Goyal Sahab ji, Industry and Commerce Minister and Railway Minister, my senior colleague Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, senior ministers, chief ministers, lieutenant governors, chief secretaries and senior secretaries of the different departments. It's my proud privilege to participate in this very important meeting. Regulatory environment has very important impact on the business development. Low regulatory business burden means businessmen can devote much time on core productive activities. Government of India since 2014 has aimed at creating conducive atmosphere. For that purpose, we have given more importance for single window system in Government of India as well as in the states. To create effective window system means approval of the unspecified period, provision of deemed approvals, create conducive atmosphere to eliminate unnecessary requirements and procedures. Government of India has trying to streamline the existing regulations and involvement of the states as well as union territories. So, we are trying our best to improve the business climate by introduction of the major reforms in labor laws. For that purpose, simplification of the registration procedures, online submission of returns, self-certification, and core key provisions in bringing changes in the Industrial Dispute Act, Factories Act, Contract Act, Trade Union Act, etc. Various measures has been taken to make doing the business easier, quick, and economical. I hope all the states participating in this meeting will contribute to make this ease of doing business a success and to contribute maximum for making India Atmanirbhar, the mission the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi has given to us. All we will contribute to make Indian Atmanirbhar. Thank you very much. Thanks. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. Accounting for more than 180 reforms proposed across various business regulatory areas, this year's rankings are unique because they give 100% weightage to user feedback, which means that unless there is palpable difference on the ground, implementation of the reform is not accepted. May I now invite Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, to deliver his address.
Honorable Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry and Minister for Railways, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, my colleague in the Council of Ministers, Shri Som Prakash ji, Honorable Chief Ministers of Uttarakhand and Tripura, Honorable Lieutenant Governors of Ladakh and J&K, Honorable Industry Ministers of 12 of our states who have joined us, Dr. Mahapatra, Dr. Banerjee from the CII, the head of FICCI, and all other eminent persons and dignitaries who have joined us today. It is my proud privilege to be part of today's function, and I'm delighted that we are taking another step in a process which will unleash competitiveness and produce a more investor-friendly system. Prior to COVID, we were a $2.89 trillion economy, and we had set ourselves the task, the objective of becoming a $5 trillion economy by 2024, 2025, and to transition to a $10 trillion economy by 2030. COVID as a pandemic has impacted countries around the world in different ways, but the clarion call for an Atmanirbhar Bharat, which the Prime Minister announced and which has unleashed a strong spirit of Atmanirbharta, is producing, as we can see, a more self-reliant India, an India which will not only emerge stronger after the pandemic, but will be able to play a more pronounced, a more assertive role in the emergence of global supply chains. We are already seeing evidence of this Atmanirbhar spirit. We are seeing evidence in many of the sectors with which I am personally privileged to be associated with. And it is clear that we have to emerge as a competitive and friendly destination amongst the different countries in the world which are participating in the ongoing and in the evolving global system. In order to be able to do that, we have to provide jobs and economic opportunities for our youth. The state industry ministers who are participating today and those who are otherwise involved in this exercise will have to play a critical role. And I have no doubt that they will assume that responsibility and take up all these tasks in a mission mode and in a very constructive spirit of cooperative federalism. Let me just share with you what the outcome of some of these exercises of ranking can produce. I have the privilege of being associated with the Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry. The construction sector is the second largest sector if you look at the issue of employment in India. Ease of doing business in construction permits and online business permission system, or OBPS as it is called, has been made operational by us in 2,057 cities, which includes 444 Amrut towns and cities, to facilitate paperless approvals and issuance of building permissions. I just want to give you a broad historical perspective of what this has done in terms of the World Bank Doing Business Report, or DBR. In the year 2017, we were ranked at 185th position. In 2020, we have come down from 185 to 27th position, or we have done a jump of 158 spots in 3 years. Clearly, the Prime Minister's reforms and the production of an ecosystem in which there has been investment of time, energy, and resources for capacity building. This system has been made operational in all parts of the country, including in the states of the Northeast, in Sikkim, Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. I have absolutely no doubt that the rankings which will be announced today and the overall ecosystem that has been produced, this will result in minimizing and drastically reducing the regulatory burden by removing renewal of licenses or extending their periodicity, simplifying application forms, introducing risk-based inspections or introduction of third-party inspections, digitizing approvals, and undertaking measures to rationalize the regulatory regime. We are now moving towards a system where a good way of looking at all this is to make all approvals, regard them as having been deemed to be granted if the concerned authority doesn't process them in 90 days. And I'm aware that with my senior colleague in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, the kind of efforts that have been made to reduce the regulatory impediments, remove them altogether where possible, and to curtail the processing time, we are now moving in a critical way where if we will be able to do and jump many levels in the ease of doing business. The larger objective of attracting investment and increasing ease of doing business in each state was sought to be achieved by introducing this healthy competition, on which this year, when we are announcing the results, which should, I believe, have been announced perhaps in March this year, but on account of the COVID delay, we are doing so now. And I'm sure that this will, this system of ranking of states based on their performance in the implementation of the State Business Reform Action Plan will fit in very well in the evolution of a new India. And I have absolutely no doubt that through this initiative, we are able to completely transform the experience of doing business in India. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you for your encouraging words, sir. The augmentation and progress towards the new India has been possible due to the vision of our dynamic leaders. It is my privilege to invite Shri Piyush Goyal, Honorable Minister of Commerce and Industry, to address the August gathering.
Thank you. Honorable Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs. My colleague ministers, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Shri Som Prakash ji, all the distinguished chief ministers, lieutenant governors, industry ministers, other officials, both from the center and state government, my colleague Dr. Guru Prasad Mahapatra ji, industry captains, leaders of CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM, other bodies, friends from the media, and all other participants on this very important occasion when we are releasing the state business reform agenda for 2019. As Honorable Prime Minister often says, the strength of India lies in the states. He has always propagated cooperative and competitive federalism to promote that spirit of oneness when it comes to national interest, yet the spirit of competition among states to attract investments, to attract business, to attract job opportunities. And we all believe that this cooperation on the one hand and competition on the other will collectively drive the nation faster towards a $5 trillion economy by 2025. In fact, I'm reminded of what Swami Vivekananda had once said, never be weak, you must be strong, you have infinite strength within you. And in some sense, the Business Reform Action Plan of the states is a reflection of that confidence that our states have, that they can do it, that they can improve their rankings, they can do better in terms of attracting businesses and work for the prosperity of their states. The rankings per se don't necessarily reflect that one is far superior or better to the other. It reflects the effort that different states are doing towards bettering their systems, their processes, and it's a competitive ranking. So while a particular state may have done a lot of work to make it easier to do business, if some other state does even more work, he will jump the queue and be reflected as performing better. That is the beauty of the ease of doing business rankings. And in this competitive world, just like India, which has made significant progress in the last 5 years under the visionary and dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in improving our own ease of doing business rankings worldwide. In the same vein, India is amongst the very few nations who have translated these efforts to categorize states and union territories on their respective ease of doing business parameters on similar lines, so that going forward, the entire nation makes an effort to improve their rankings, and that effort finally gets reflected in the nation's rankings worldwide. In fact, as the relative position of states keep going up and down, it will also be a great encouragement to those states who have done well to do even better, and it will be a serious wake-up call for those states and union territories who may have slid down the rankings, but they can put in even more effort to quickly ramp up and make up for the slippage, and by next year look at once again getting better rankings. In fact, India is amongst the top 10 performers in the ease of doing business rankings in terms of improvement over the last 2 years. And I assure you that we recognize the contribution of all the states and the union territories, the political leadership and the officials who have worked hard to ensure that India moves very progressively towards ease of doing business, and as the Honorable Prime Minister has expanded the scope of that towards ease of living. In fact, the Prime Minister's vision has always been very holistic. He integrates several programs, almost like beads of a necklace. And today, as the nation is working under a new normal, under a new age, where post-COVID pandemic, a lot of things have changed, including the nature of this program. I think we are recognizing and realizing the huge importance to all the various initiatives that Prime Minister Modi has spearheaded in the last 5.5 years before COVID struck. Be it Digital India, be it the access of electricity to every household under Saubhagya, be it the effort to ensure every home gets a toilet under Swachh Bharat mission and India becomes open defecation free, be it the huge effort towards cleaning up the cities and towns and villages of India, be it the effort to ensure that cooking gas connection replaces traditional chula cooking across homes in the length and breadth of the country, be it the very, very important and flagship program of the Government of India, Ayushman Bharat, which provided 50 crore brothers and sisters of India with free health care. Each one of these programs is today being recognized the world over as the game changer which has helped India overcome the travails of COVID, overcome the difficulties of COVID, bring back economic activity in a fast manner. Look at unlock very speedily. Even after having such a severe lockdown, the quick recovery that we are seeing in several sectors is indeed reflective of the bold spirit that every Indian citizen has and their willingness to come back to normal at an early date. And all of these projects are today holding us in good stead. Can you imagine the severe lockdown and the fact that we could keep the wheels of the economy and administration running despite the lockdown and the COVID pandemic? It was only possible because the Prime Minister had made special efforts to ensure that electricity reaches every home, digital outreach goes to every panchayat in the interiors of the country, and the scale at which the country has expanded its digital footprint is truly remarkable. In fact, from the ramparts of the Red Fort on 15th August, he has set a new target before the country to ensure that every village gets digital connectivity in the next 1,000 days. I think it is an extremely bold initiative, one that will hold India in good stead in the years to come and prepare India to be a part of global engagement and increase India's contribution to world economies and India's share in global trade as we move towards ensuring that every district in the country gets recognized for its own product of excellence. And we have a one product, one district program, which the Commerce and Industry Ministry is rapidly working with all the states on. We've had engagement with all the industry ministers of the states and will soon be unveiling a program where every district in the country will be focusing all its energies to expand the outreach of their production, of their special products, not only to the length and breadth of India, but to the entire world. Similarly, Atmanirbhar Bharat, where India looks for its rightful place in the world economy, where we are looking for global engagement, where we are looking to expand our scale and quality of production to never seen before levels, so that the world can benefit from India's engagement in resilient supply chains, is going to be a path-breaking program under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Every department of India, every ministry and every state are today working collectively towards truly universal single window concept where, sitting anywhere in the world, we will encourage businesses, both domestic and international, to come and engage with India, to do business in India, to manufacture in India for the world, to serve from India to the rest of the world, and make India an economic powerhouse. The idea is that all central, state and local approvals get captured in one digital website with a single payment gateway, and all of us in government at the center or states collaborate in this mission to make India even easier place to do business than we have done in the last 5.5, 6 years. I'm grateful to all the states for the extensive cooperation and support that they have provided us in this regard. We have already taken out the pilot of a land bank where over 1 lakh hectares of industrial land is available for industry to come and engage with India and start manufacturing in. Recently, Japan, Australia and India, the combination JAI, had an engagement where we have decided that we will work together with other like-minded nations to promote resilient supply chains, both in the Indo-Pacific region and across the world, so that trusted partners can work together and ensure uninterrupted supply of goods and services at all times in the future. This initiative will certainly help India expand its engagement in the world, and I invite all the states to partner with the central government under this very important initiative, which has the blessings of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Lastly, we have identified 24 products on which the government is focusing in partnership with industry. These have been identified jointly by private sector and the government. And on these 24 sectors, we are confident we can add at least 20 lakh crore worth of manufacturing output in India in the next 5 years. This 20 lakh crore manufacturing output in the 24 sectors will provide scores of working and job opportunities, will expand economic activity in the country, and will lead the way to India's rightful place in the world. We invite all the states to partner with the government, with the private sector, with industry associations, both in encouraging and expanding the footprint on these 24 sectors and also identifying new initiatives, new ideas, new products where India can truly become a world player. My congratulations to all the states and union territories who have worked diligently for implementing the state business reform action plans in the past, and I am confident that going forward we will continue to see greater engagement and greater cooperation amongst the states, amongst local bodies and the center as we make it easier to do business in India, as we make the lives of the people of India easier. As Swami Vivekananda had said, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. मैं आप सभी को आमंत्रण करता हूं कि हम रुके नहीं, थमे नहीं, पूरी तेज गति से इस देश को आगे बढ़ाने में मिलकर काम करें. Together, let us work for a strong India, for a powerful India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Your inspiring words have always and will continue to guide our endeavors. The next edition of the Business Reform Action Plan includes unprecedented enhancements to the BRAP methodology, including performance-linked borrowing to incentivize states and union territories. This historic move has been undertaken by our Honorable Minister of Finance. May I now request Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Minister of Finance, to release the rankings for State Business Reform Action Plan 2019.
आत्मनिर्भरता, आत्मबल और आत्मविश्वास से ही संभव है. आत्मनिर्भरता ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन में कड़ी स्पर्धा के लिए भी देश को तैयार करती है. और आज ये समय की मांग है कि भारत हर स्पर्धा में जीते, ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन में बड़ी भूमिका निभाए. लोकल सिर्फ जरूरत नहीं, बल्कि हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी है. समय ने हमें सिखाया है कि लोकल को हमें अपना जीवन मंत्र बनाना ही होगा.
Making New India the place to do business is the essence of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and this spirit of competition is now reaching every state and district of this country, transforming how India does business. Beginning in 2014, the Business Reform Action Plan is designed to streamline regulatory structures and build an investor-friendly business environment across various states and union territories of India. The Business Reform Action Plan, now in its fourth edition, has continuously evolved its robust methodology, deepening and widening the scope of reforms. In this edition, 100% weightage has been given to user feedback, which means unless the impact of a reform is felt on ground, the reform is not accepted. Extensive outreach has been undertaken to reach more than 35,000 users in regional languages to gather feedback. Also, in this edition, more than 180 reforms were proposed across various business regulatory areas such as access to information and technology, labor regulation enablers, construction permit enablers, single window systems, land administration, and many more. Having assessed the user feedback from across the country, we now have the best performing states for State BRAP 2019. From Northern India, Uttar Pradesh. From Southern India, Andhra Pradesh. From Eastern India, West Bengal. From Western India, Madhya Pradesh. From Northeastern India, Assam. From the Union Territories, Delhi. And now, the overall best performers in 2019. Third place, Telangana. Second place, Uttar Pradesh. And the winner is Andhra Pradesh. The Business Reform Action Plan has galvanized New India, and the commitment shown by the states and union territories has propelled this initiative to a whole new level as other nations are now looking to replicate this model in their countries. The next edition of the Business Reform Action Plan includes path-breaking enhancements to the BRAP methodology, including performance-linked borrowing to incentivize states and union territories, district-level action plans to bring reforms to grassroots levels. New India leads the way yet again.
Ma'am, may I please request you to deliver your keynote address?
Thank you very much. My colleague and the Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal ji, Chief Ministers of different states who have come to participate, the Lieutenant Governors, Ministers Hardeep Puri and also Som Prakash ji, industry ministers from various states, business leaders, chambers of commerce which are represented here. I'm extremely happy to participate in this fourth edition of State Business Reforms Action Plan, wherein, based on public opinion and also the responses from the ground, rankings of states are annually done. I congratulate the Department of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, for consistently maintaining the standard with which these rankings are done, and also improving upon the parameters with which you rank. Particularly this year, where you have really given emphasis for states being responsive and also receptive to those inputs which are coming from the ground, just so that you're able to make sure that the reform action that you're taking are actually felt in the ground. This one major step, I think, making it as a part of the ranking itself, is indicative of the fact these are not exercises just for the pedagogy of the activity, but more to actually take the benefits down to the grassroots and to those beneficiaries who are the makers of India, because they are the ones who are building the economy. So I extend all my commiserations to the DPIIT for the hard work they've done. And in this particular instance, I've noticed since last year and the year before that some states have shown extraordinary energy in being able to put all the action plans together and make sure reforms happen. Some states which have done extraordinarily well, not those particularly which are ranked, yes, are doing, but there are also others who are doing irrespective of the fact that their ranking might go up or down, but making sure that their objective of wanting reforms to take a pace and move at that kind of a pace which will actually make a difference is noticed every year. So this is also something which we need to be very proud about, that states have taken the spirit behind this business reform action plan in its true sense. It's healthy competition that we are building, not a competition which is prying upon one another or trying to run past the other, but in a way trying to build a competitive spirit among states, so that what are we competing about? To make our state a better place for businesses to come and do more business in the state. So competing for that, competing for improving that is a very positive step, and therefore to be ranked on it, I think, is a very healthy sign of a good competition. 1 minute, I would like to go back to the announcements of Atmanirbhar. All our honorable ministers have mentioned that. Atmanirbhar package, when it came through during the times of COVID, when we wanted to extend a lot of hand-holding and help to sectors which needed it, the Prime Minister took it as an opportunity to make sure that this challenge of COVID doesn't make us sit with a sense of worry, but on the contrary, took it as a moment of opportunity. And that is one of the reasons why every Atmanirbhar announcement was also packaged with a very strong and distinct reform announcement. Every announcement which came to help the situation at a time of pandemic was also an opportunity to make India a far more honestly in reform mode. So this commitment for reform is both with the central government and with the state governments, and that is the reason why I think India's commitment to reforms is taken seriously by investors abroad, and they take India to be a very desirable destination. Otherwise, we would be seeing good amounts of FDI coming even during the pandemic time, when India, many of our critics would say, had one of the strictest lockdowns. Notwithstanding that, we've had very good inflow of FDI, and that is because as a destination, India with all its things stands out as law-abiding, but yet a very good destination for investment. And in this, I think Atmanirbhar should be understood, and I think a lot of us don't speak about it, is not for making India into a self-reliant India. Atmanirbhar India is more for us to build on our strengths. And that is one of the ways in which we can become competitive, and even more competitive, better competitive, to be able to face the world and meet with export competition. And that is why it is important that for all of us to understand Atmanirbharta as building on our strengths, making sure that our strengths are really honed, sharpened enough to be able to stand by us and make us a better economy, so that our exports are better priced, our exports are better in quality, and our exports definitely show the Indian skill in making things to the perfection. So I appreciate all the states which are taking a lot of steps towards this business reform action plan. I congratulate the top 3 states, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Telangana, for having consistently kept on the track of reforms. Also West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh and also Delhi, which is from the Union Territory, all of whom have performed in their respective regions also very well. And I'm sure this competition is only going to get healthier, and more reforms will be set rolling in the years to come. I wish all the states and also the DPIIT all the very best in the future endeavors too. Thank you for having me here today.
नवीन भारत के निर्माण को व्यापार के अनुकूल बनाया जा सके, यही आत्मनिर्भर भारत का सारांश है. The spirit of competitive federalism is now reaching every state and district of this country, transforming how India does business. May I request Shri Shailendra Singh, Additional Secretary, Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal, Honorable Lieutenant Governors and Honorable Chief Ministers of States, Honorable MOS for Civil Aviation and Housing Urban Affairs, and for Commerce Industry, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, MOS for Commerce Industry, Shri Som Prakash ji, Principal Secretaries, Chief Secretaries, and Secretaries of the States, and distinguished members of the press. On behalf of Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, I am grateful to Madam Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister for having graced the launch of the state's Doing Business Assessment Report. In her keynote address, she mentioned that she envisages Atmanirbhar Bharat to unshackle the regulatory environment and create a conducive business environment in the country. In 2009, the World Bank Group did a subnational ranking with 17 states. In 2015, DPIIT started assessment of the state's business environment in all the states and UTs. The State Business Reform Action Plan is evolving since 2015 with added business reform action points every year. It is heartening to see that comparatively lesser industrialized states have fared well in the last few rankings. In 2015, 32 states and UTs participated, and the average score was just 32%. In 2019, the number of states have increased to 33, and the average score is now 62%. I would also like to thank all the participating states and their distinguished dignitaries for their diligent efforts towards success of implementation of business reform action plans over the years. We feel privileged that you have joined the session. I would also like to thank the World Bank Group and members of the press for their support. We acknowledge their esteemed presence in this session. At the end, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for everyone who has contributed towards making this session a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your invaluable time today, and thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful day ahead.